Oh, hey there. So I want to tell you the story about an Ethiopian eunuch and a man named Philip. And at first you'll be like, what are you telling me this story for? And then you'll be like, oh, that's actually a pretty cool story. So here we go. Let me set the stage for you. If you start reading the New Testament, and let's just say that you're new to the Bible, which I assume that a lot of you are, there are the four Gospels. There's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Okay, that's each one of those disciples, and then Luke was actually a doctor who knew Paul, give their testimony, their eyewitness testimony of the life of Jesus from his birth to his death and resurrection and then ascension into heaven. So you got those four accounts. They're separate accounts, but they're the same story from a different vantage point. Now, after that is the Acts of the Apostles. So that's, after Pentecost, after Jesus dies and is resurrected again and ascends into heaven, then Acts kind of tells that story of the early church, if you will. Lots of miracles happening. Stephen was the first martyr, and when Stephen was martyred, the church scattered. They were in Jerusalem, and they scattered to nearby areas, Samaria and Judea and things like this. And so Samaria was half-breeds, and the Jews did not like them at all. They hated them, and because they thought they were impure, tainted, what have you. Nevertheless, Philip was one of the disciples. He ended up over there. And so he was doing lots of miracles, and God was doing lots of miracles through Philip. And he was going somewhere, and the Spirit of God said, "Go over this way. Don't worry, I'll tell you when you get there." And so he goes down there, and then he goes, "You see that guy in the chariot?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Go, just walk near him. You'll understand when you get there." And so he's like, "Okay." And a lot of times we feel this nudging from God. And I remember when I was younger, I'd resist it and kind of explain it away, like, "Oh, that's coincidence," or "That's just in my head," or whatever. And now I'm like, look, if God tells you to do something, don't hesitate, just do it. And then watch the miracles happen. So here's the miracles coming up. So he's standing next to this Ethiopian eunuch. And if you don't know what a eunuch is, I suppose you could look it up. It means he can't have children because reasons. And so he's very important. He's in charge of the treasury of the whole Ethiopian, the queen of Ethiopia. He's in charge of her treasury. So that's a pretty high position. He's sitting on his chariot, and he's reading a scroll. He's come all the way from Ethiopia to Jerusalem to come and worship God, which means he's already trying to figure it out, okay? And he's reading the scroll of Isaiah, probably out loud. And Philip is kind of walking near his chariot, and he goes, "Do you understand what you're reading?" And he goes, "How can I? Unless somebody explains it to me." And he goes, "I'm happy to explain it to you." He's like, "Hop in." And so they sit next to each other, and he starts at that very passage that he's reading in Isaiah that says, he was led as a lamb towards the slaughter. And he goes, is he talking about himself, or is he talking about somebody else? Isaiah. And he goes, "Let me tell you what and who he's talking about." And he tells the story of Jesus, and they keep talking. And this Ethiopian eunuch goes, "There's some water right there. Is there anything that's stopping me from getting baptized right now?" And Philip goes, "I don't see any reason why we couldn't." And so they go into the water. And I want to pause there for a second. We need a sense of urgency. Okay, the Bible says now is the appointed time. Today is the day of salvation. And so many people are like, I'll think about that. I'm going to take that into consideration. Maybe one day I'll look into that. And then you know what happens? They die. And I've had friends that this has happened to. They're like, "I'm going to come to church. I'm going to come to church. I'm going to come to church." And then they die before they make it to church. And it's heartbreaking to me. And you don't have to go to church. I get it. It certainly helps. But when the Gospels were presented to me, I was like, why would I wait? And that's the way that this Ethiopian eunuch felt. He's like, "Look, there's some water right there. Why would I wait?" And I've baptized several people throughout my years. And, at first you're like, should there be some process? Should I coach you for a while? And we do some counseling and make sure your heart's in the right place or whatever? Absolutely not. You want to get baptized, you go get baptized. And if you're the person baptizing, don't qualify them, okay? None of us is worthy. And so when the time comes that you're like, I'm not a perfect person, should I get baptized? Yes, you should get baptized, and then let God do the work in your heart. And so this eunuch was just like a sense of urgency. He goes, "Is there anything stopping me from getting in that water and getting baptized?" And Philip's like, "Nope." And he goes, "Stop the chariot." And so they do. They get out, they go into the water. Philip baptizes him. He comes up. Philip disappears. And this eunuch goes around praising God and telling everybody. In fact, he goes down to Africa to Ethiopia, which is in Africa, and tells everybody. And our pastor did a sermon on it, and he had tremendous impact and really paved the way for the gospel in Africa. That one guy did. And so God had a reason for him to be there. And then it says that Philip reappeared in a different place and then started preaching the gospel there. But God was doing a lot of miracles back then. Okay, he was pouring his spirit out on people, and God still does a lot of miracles. It's just that we don't have faith. Every time Jesus did a miracle, he would say, your faith has made you whole. Your faith has made you whole. He didn't say, I did this amazing thing. Your faith has made you whole. Because you believe this, because you believe that God will do this thing, because it was put on your heart and you believe this, and then you did it. You put your faith into action. Your faith has made you whole. Your faith has healed you. Your faith has done this amazing thing. And I think the reason why there's not as many miracles today that we notice is because our faith is small. Our faith has not made us whole. We need a sense of urgency. We need to go, what is stopping me from dealing with this right now? And I've talked to a lot of people, they're like, man, you do not have that problem. And I don't. I'm like, an opportunity is presented to me, and I go, that's a good decision. I'm going to do that. Let's go right now. And then because of that, I have lived a full and wonderful life. Have there been downfalls? Sure. But overall, it's going up and to the right. And that's what I want. I want to be going in a good direction, following God, living an adventurous life. And I'm so very grateful for all that. So I guess my key takeaway is this. Have you been baptized? No? Why are you waiting? Go find somebody that will baptize you, and don't wait. Are you like, yeah, I need to get right with God. What in the world are you waiting for? Do it already. Stop, pause this video, get off, your phone, and pray to God right now. Get your life and your heart right with God, because we don't know how much time we've got. We're racing towards the finish line, and you want to be on the right side of this thing. So what in the world are you waiting for? You got some bad habit? Get rid of that thing. Live like the time is short, because this stuff is fleeting and it will be gone soon, and you want to be right with God. Love you guys.